I will be serving as the moderator. My name is Kikyobara. We would like to spend some time about what can be changed by business and the future of business in IT. And we have invited the panelists from the companies who are ahead in the cloud initiative, and we would like to invite Mr. Sugihara from Oracle Japan to have this discussion. We have a limited time, but with the panelists, we would like to have them talk about the cloud positioning within the management strategy and IT strategy, and key points in deciding the cloud implementation and the challenges in starting the utilization of cloud, and also the future challenges. Before we go into the discussion, I would like to have the panelists introduce themselves about the roles that they currently serve in their business. From NTT.com, Mr. Seki. Thank you very much. Could I have the slide, please? My name is Seki from NTT Communications. I am in charge of the cloud service development. NTT Communication, in 2010, we have announced what we call the cloud vision, and we have made a major reform of the organization, and I am in charge of the business. And in 2 years' time, in 2015, we have started the two services that are shown here. One is the Mizuho Biz Hosting Cloud. We were really focused on Amazon, and we introduced this as a counteraction to drive the market. And we have a very broad range of APIs. And the other is Biz Hosting Enterprise Cloud. This is targeting our enterprise customers, and we're providing the cloud service for the enterprise. And we have a very strong SLA, 99.99%. SLA is guaranteed, but this is a really high-end model, and we are using Oracle's Exadata, and also usage-based Oracle database services are provided, and we believe Oracle is our important partner, so we are participating in this panel. And from Seven & I, Mr. Suzuki. I am Suzuki from 7 & I Net Media. Could I have the slide, please? Let me briefly introduce myself. I myself work for Fujitsu, which was an IT company. And after that, in 1996, I moved to SoftBank. And at that time, I started a company that was the basis of the current company. And we came into the 7 & I Holdings through an acquisition. 7 & I Holdings is a real retail group, but we wanted to integrate with the internet, so that's why we were acquired. And right now, I am serving as the president of 7 & I Net Holdings, and I am also driving Omni-Channel with another company. And this is the overview of 7 & I Group. And this is a pretty big group. First of all, as a number of stores, it's 18,500 in Japan. And this is global number one, and 50,000 globally. And number of customers, we have 2,000 per day, and we have 5,700 people per day, and we have a total revenue of 10 trillion yen, and we are positioned number 2 following Walmart as global retailer. And because it's called 7-Eleven is very famous, but we have Barney's New York or Akachan Honpo, but we have a lot of specialty stores included in our group. And 7 & I Holdings is a retailer and mainly focusing on convenience stores. And we call this the first stage, but we provide convenience stores that are close to your houses. And we do an ultimate management of SKUs. I mean, we have the products that are demanded by the customers in the stores. And by pursuing that, we had built a new business practice of the customers, and that's our first stage. And with the digital revolution, the customers can stay at home or can use a smartphone and are able to make purchases even on the go. And as the group, we wanted to challenge this across formats. And we have an initiative called Omni-Channel, and we have come into the second stage. The term Omni-Channel came out in 2010 by a department store called Macy's in the U.S. And the Omni-Channel in the U.S. would be by a department store, discount store, or drugstores. And this is deployed within a single format. And we have a very unique retail group that has different formats in our group, so we can go across different formats and challenge a new way of omni-channel. And in that domain, we are thinking of how we can leverage the cloud, and this is about to take place in the future, and I hope to talk about that today. And Ishino-san from RICO. I am Ishino from the Business Innovation Group at RICO. I apologize, I didn't prepare any slides. And it's been 30 years since I joined RICO, and I have always been in the IT area.
So being in the IT area, I don't really like IT, and I'm surprised that I survived in that environment for so many years. And from 3 years ago, I've been responsible for IT, and before that, I lived in the United States for 9 years, and I was working on the implementation of Oracle EBS. And I had a struggle with Oracle EBS, and I didn't want to work on EBS any longer back then. However, I'm still working around Oracle, and I'm serving a chair for Oracle user group. And I'd like you to take part in the user group event, but today's topic is different from that, so we are promoting IT. And back in April this year, in the past we had IT headquarters. However, we went through the reorganization, and ITS was removed, and now it's changed to a business innovation department. So President told us to fully utilize IT as a strategic tool to innovate business. So that's a new mission, and I'm struggling again. And I'd like to share some of my experience with you. Okay, thank you very much. So we have so many good guests, and what do you expect of this panel discussion, Sugihara-san? I'm feeling a pressure. So we had the difficulties and good days with you, and I have experience working for many different IT companies, but it's good to go to the United States or Europe to see the successes and failures of the other customers, so success cases or failures. However, there are also many customers who have such experiences in Japan, so why can't we share such information among the Japanese customers? So we do have lots of customer cases in Japan, so we would like to share such information among us. Thank you very much for coming today. So now we would like to start the discussion. As Sugihara-san mentioned, this is not really to have a very active discussion, but on cloud utilization, each company is using cloud from different perspectives or in a different way. So first of all, So in IT strategy and the business management strategy of your company, how do you position cloud and how are you utilizing cloud? So Ishino-san from Rico, could you please start? Okay, I would like to briefly talk about that. I'm not sure if I'm an appropriate person here or not, but I don't like the word cloud very much. Cloud is just a methodology. It's not an objective. It's not what. It's about how. So our mission is not to do to work on cloud. However, we just utilize cloud to achieve some business objectives. But we are heavily using cloud. So right now, of the Oracle products and Eloqua we are using, and in the middleware, Oracle On Demand we are using, and IS. Quite many products from your IS solutions we are using. So our basic concept is we would like to use whatever appropriate whenever appropriate. So we are not just looking at the cloud solutions, but wherever it is appropriate, we select and use cloud products. So I will talk about my struggle later, but so as the measure or as the method to achieve certain business objective, so we use cloud solutions. So in combination with SFA and so on. And that is our basic strategy. And the cloud is quite ambiguous. It's very difficult to the client server or downsizing. We heard lots of these buzzwords. And it's not that the word came out first and we started working on that. But the cloud is the same is true with or cloud is a bit different from client servers or the buzzwords in the past. So if you can call something cloud, then it becomes cloud. So to the management people, how I should explain what a cloud is or what kind of cloud we would like to use. That is an important part of the cloud strategy. So to the top management, we try to provide a good input about the cloud. And after enough explanation, we just say, please rely on us. So in the past, it was IDS, the headquarters, and now the name is changed to Business Innovation Department. And the position or significance of cloud also is it increasing? Yes. It's becoming wider. So the cloud as a solution, it is becoming wide, and we are promoting it. And how about you, Suzuki-san, from 7i Net Media? As Ishino-san mentioned, so if you ask me what the cloud strategy is, it's a very difficult question to answer. As I mentioned at the beginning, based upon the physical infrastructure, we put the network and the cloud, and we are promoting Omni-Channel strategy, and it should be based upon cloud. So we should be using private cloud and public cloud, and we needed to seek a good balance between the public and the private clouds. And the digitization is going on, and the sense of speed is very much important for the management. And to catch up with that acceleration of the business activities, we need to fully utilize cloud. So 79i NetMedia, Suzuki-san is in charge of total IT strategy. Is that correct? So 7i NetMedia and 7i Holdings. So I'm serving as a leader for Omni-Channel strategy. And so when we say Omni-Channel, what should we do first? And how do we handle stores? And how should we handle products or merchandises? And how should we serve our customers? So we do have 300,000 employees in the group, and working together with the suppliers and the partners, how should we develop our products? So in that strategy, cloud should be very important. So cloud is the first tool or solution that we should take to answer those how questions. So in my case, my position is to provide such a method or tools. So how can we customize or adjust such methodology to the customers? So we started this strategy in 2010, and so NTT has an infrastructure, so we improved the infrastructure. So to minimize the latency in the submarine cables and so on. So the total strengths, including the networking, can be a differentiation point of our these private cloud. And we started providing the cloud service in 2010, and very high performance was required in the following years, in the next year. And the cloud storage, we started providing cloud storage. And this year, so we would like to provide carrier-like cloud. So automated provisioning is the standard, the type of products. The other suppliers or cloud providers can provide that. So on top of the automation, VPN, internet connectivity automation service is also provided. And we would like our customers to be able to use our cloud infrastructure for more mission-critical service applications. And using the next slide, I would like to conclude.
We have done a major system development, and the biggest capability is globalization for us. We have 130 data centers around the world, and Equinix, we have the second largest space of 250,000 square meters following Equinix, and we have equivalent space to 5 Tokyo Dome space. And the core data centers are selected in 16 locations, and BizHost enterprise equivalent services are available. And starting from one portal, we are conducting the federation, so we are able to manage all the infrastructure at once. And especially with regards to the relationship with Oracle, in addition to the domestic opportunities, especially in Australia in August, New South Wales state government project was awarded to us called the Identity Hub. And for the residents, the ID is managed using single sign-on, and we established a joint venture with Oracle for the project, and we were awarded with the order. So globally, we have a very broad initiative, and we have high-level provisioning of the cloud, and that's what we hope to achieve. So it's not really about the cloud utilization. It's more about how we can realize the cloud for the customers. Thank you. Seki-san, you have a partnership with Oracle to provide cloud service. I think that's your positioning. But the customers, the user companies, what is their perception for the cloud? You started your service in 2010, but do you feel that their perception has changed? Well, initially, they were just using it experimentally. I was thinking of talking about this later, but by using the cloud, it makes it easier for them to demonstrate the governance. So by using it in the core systems, they can bring all the global IT centrally in Japan. So the use case, not just for the usability of the user, and also they are starting to select the cloud to demonstrate the governance, and in order to do that, they're looking for something more high performance. So I think that's the perception change we're seeing. Well, we talked about the business management and IT strategy and how cloud is positioned, but now I would like to ask about the decision-making factors in choosing the cloud and the challenges that they faced before they started using the cloud, and the actual result and the challenges and advice for the people who are thinking about introducing the cloud. So maybe we could start from Ishino-san. The big difference is that I was talking about the internal IT positioning, but as the IT positioning, with the vendors, we would design the optimal system for that company. So we were relying heavily on the vendors, and they would give us commitment. I think that's the dependent model that we already had internally. But when we go into the hybrid model, when we are using the services when needed appropriately, the internal IT needs to have the capability to be able to choose what's right. Well, even when you say the cloud, it could be, many different clouds. I mean, there are really solid companies like Oracle and NTT.com, but there are others who are not so solid. So we need to have the capability to really evaluate all those clouds, and we need to be able to see the total cost of ownership, especially with the cloud. The latest companies will change the cloud services. They will add new services. That's good, but with that, there might be some optional costs. So we need to have the capability to judge them. And when we use the public cloud, the assumption is to use the internet, and it could be just best effort. But internal IT don't really like this idea of best effort. So how can we commit the best effort as internal IT is something that we need to consider within our paradigm shift. So personally, I see the need to significantly change the internal IT resources, and I believe that is the biggest challenge that we're facing. Especially with the internet. From my perspective, there is a huge concern around the latency issue. And at Open World, I had an opportunity to speak with Mark Hurd, and I talked to him directly about this. But without the cloud being close to us, we will be very concerned because network latency is a huge issue, and we can't solve it without having the data center close to us. And without it being close to us, we can't use it for our mission-critical system. And we asked them how much they can commit to us on that. So we need the capability, I believe, to be able to evaluate the service. And I think that's most important as internal IT. So the people who can actually evaluate, how are you going to develop these resources? Well, there are several ways. One is to hire people with talent from outside. And we can send the people with the potential to external organizations so that they can build up their experience. So it would be quite important to conduct a different way of career, capability development. And with the cloud, what would be the benefits or the results of actually using the cloud? With EAS and PaaS, we don't have such a big expectation yet, but that is because our system scale is quite big, and we are able to reduce the cost on-premise and internally, of course. So if you call this the cloud, maybe the cloud, but we can use VMs to provide services. So we are already capturing the benefits from that. So depending on the purpose, maybe the tentative development environment or the tentative evaluation environment used for analytics, we are very quite aggressive in using the cloud, but it's limited to such use. And the future, it could change depending on the evolution of the service level. And the service area, it's not really about the cloud, it's more about the value. Things like right now, Eloqua and your, it's not your software, but we use SFA from another vendor. We evaluate the application's capability and features and before implementing this, and I think we are seeing the effect, but it's not really the effect or the benefit of the cloud. It's more about the value of that application. And we're not adding any colors to that. I mean, if it's a good product, we can use it on the cloud, and if it's cheaper to use it on premise, we can use it on premise. Thank you. Suzuki-san? I mentioned several times about the integration of real stores to online through Omni-Channel, and we have 20 million customers coming to our stores, and we have numerous amounts of transaction data. And it's still as a test, but we are experimenting different uses of the cloud. And in such circumstance, because we're handling customers' information, we need to protect the customers' information. So basically, we are in the direction of building the private cloud. And internal process can use different SaaS processes, SaaS services. SaaS service really depend on the quality and the value of the application, so therefore we're seeing certain level of benefits. And we have a lot of on-premise applications that were built over time. And I thought what was good about Oracle's announcement was the capability to allow us to move between on-premise and the cloud and back and forth. And I'm really looking forward to that. Retailers' basic idea is that, for example, if it starts to rain, we want to have umbrellas displayed in front of the stores. And we are going to take a huge step into the digital world, and we need to be able to do such change. And the biggest challenge is probably building the systems in-house. the U.S. IT engineers counts up for like 30 million, and it's said that there's about 10 million engineers in Japan. And in U.S., 72% of the people are the IT engineers working for a private company, and against that, maybe 25% were for companies in Japan. And IT is going to penetrate even more in the market, so the IT engineers in the companies needs to be secured, and they need to have them understand the business so that they can identify good IT functions and capabilities. So how we develop and how we recruit IT engineers will be a big challenge. Today, I am here and I'm seeing many IT engineers in front of me, so if you're interested, I hope that you will come work for our company.
So cloud. So if you use SaaS, then you can cover up to applications, and in the case of PaaS, the platform can be used, and you don't need to build platforms yourselves. However, you want to build things in-house. So what kind of custom build do you want to do? So we do have more than 100 companies or different types of retails. So to provide private cloud for these internal customers, we needed to build applications ourselves and platforms. And this in the same manner as the other Japanese companies. In a sense, we are quite heavily dependent upon the system integrators. Sometimes 100% is done by system integrators. So we have to be able to select right things for ourselves. So in the case of retails, we are selling food and different types of products, merchandises. And the growing retailers are the companies who are succeeding in launching private brands. So 75% of the 7-Eleven is our private merchandises. So onigiri, rice balls, and so on are our private brands. The other retailers, like Nitori and so on, they are still purchasing the merchandises from the other suppliers. So how successful you can be in private branding is a key to success in the future. So we are making our own rice balls, but we don't grow rice and we don't grow the nori seaweed. So how we can be good at making private brand goods is the key to success to all the system engineers. So how about Choseki-san? So having listened to the other people, so we are providing public cloud, but we have many commonalities with the people who are running private cloud. So this might be a very classical one, but the network latency, someone pointed out, and to provide this to the customers, we have to calculate the latency. We're providing that kind of calculation service as a part of a consulting service. And it is not mentioned here on this chart, but we provide public cloud, and our public cloud is used by many customers. The biggest thing is right management of the capacity. That is difficult. And the growth of the capacity is accelerating, and we have to reduce the lead time. There are many different customers, and in one cluster, the way they use the resource is different. So some resources are used heavily and the others are not. So we should demonstrate our capability in handling these resource management properly. But we are now having tools so we can collect all the information via API and how much performance we are seeing in each area, and we monitor 24/7. And so I think the Oracle will be a cloud operator, and the monitoring on the public cloud and the private cloud. Maybe Oracle will be launching new types of tools for monitoring toward the future. And after several years after launch, the software management becomes more difficult, and Amazon EC2, launched EC2 in 2006, and people are closely watching how AWS will decommit the EC2 service. So to sell products to the customers and to run and operate the cloud for the customers, they are two totally different things. So we need to be very efficient in managing and operating the cloud as well. Okay, thank you. So having listened to each panelist, so I think we can understand the merits of the cloud and challenges that they are faced with. And Sugihara-san, you want to speak up, right? But for example, in the case of SaaS, if it is connected with the many different components, then it becomes very difficult to get out of that environment. So cloud is a sort of a black box, and even if the customer wants to reduce the cost, it's very difficult, and you have to be negotiate very tightly with the cloud provider. So some people are saying that, and how does Oracle think about that cost reduction and challenges? So what Oracle considers as Oracle, so Larry Ellison and the other people are seriously thinking about what kind of cloud we should provide. I'm not an engineer, but the business people are strongly requesting the development side in the headquarters to absorb all the opinions of the customers. So, but fortunately, Larry is very flexible. So he welcomes all the complaints and the challenging requirements from the customers. He has already built up that kind of ecosystem where we can work on challenges that customers have, and so his close friend Steve Jobs had the same kind of idea. So he and Steve Jobs wanted to keep making the best things. So cloud as a black box. So customers in Japan and customers in the world, they're feeling a little bit scared when they had cloud in front of them. So it's like a prehistoric era. So when you first saw fire in human beings, so fire for the first time, it was really scary. But in the case of Oracle Cloud, it's not a black box, it's a clear box. We are using all open technologies like Java, and our differentiation point is both for on-premise and off-premise and the public and the private, that we can provide the same thing.
That's the proud of Oracle, and I think that's something that we can be confident of, because to Sexton, we're providing the parts. For example, the top 10 SaaS providers, they are all using Oracle technology in some way. And Oracle, the areas we're competing is the people who are selling books, and other people have completely different profit models, and we're probably going into an era where we're competing with such people, and we're deploying the cloud in such areas because they are not developing new TPUs or database. They're just buying them and offering cloud platforms, and the profit is coming from advertisements or selling books or juice. And what we're saying with Larry and Mark Hurd is to develop good products, and we have to continue developing good products, and that's the difference about Oracle. And that's a lot of motivation to do that, and listening to many inputs from the customers. That was really helpful. We're not a black box, we're offering the clear box. And on-premise and off-premise is about getting the choice. Larry is always talking about giving the choice. I mean, Oracle will be providing all the choices, and that's our policy. So you can go between on-premise and off-premise. And once we start talking about the competitors, you'll probably go on forever, so let me stop. Let me go on to the last theme. As the future challenge, where do you want to utilize the cloud in the future? And also, what do you expect to Oracle? Next, Suzuki-san, 7 and I. Can you show the second page of the slide? I talked about Omni-Channel earlier, but we haven't been able to start this in full scale. We're targeting fall of next year, when we're building different systems and business processes. But my request to Oracle is that we're using a lot of Oracle's platforms and architecture, so I would like to request for support to ensure the right development. I mean, once it becomes a large scope, we tend to have a lot of mistakes, so we just want to ensure that there is no mistake. And the chart you're seeing here, in the future, the areas where we want to challenge using the cloud would be big data. As I mentioned before, we have 20 million shoppers in Japan and 57 million people around the world shopping at our stores. And because there are so many customers, if we take behavioral data, we can probably capture the behavioral data from the real physical stores. But we're not saying that we want to analyze them. People tend to say that you can analyze big data to see the future, but our group don't believe that we can see the future from analysis. I mean, recently at 7-Eleven, we have something called 7 Cafe, where we sell coffee, and it was a big hit. And we sold 500 million cups of coffee last year. And 7-Eleven originally only sold canned coffee. But no matter how much analytics you do on canned coffee, you could not tell that cup coffees would be a big hit. So how we can build a hypothesis and how we can validate individual shoppers, would be key. And in the validation, we would like to leverage the big data. 7-Eleven has a lot of stores, but there are different formats. For example, Akachan Honpo is a baby goods store format. But when you have a child, half the people would buy something at Akachan Honpo store. And they would go to supermarket, convenience store, department store, and specialty stores. And across different formats, we would like to do big data analytics. And once we do that, we can do a lot of different validations. I don't know if it's going to be Oracle or someone else. I don't know if it's going to be on-premise or on the public cloud. But we want to distinguish that and judge that. And we hope to work as a team and consider that. Thank you. I really use 7 Cafe a lot. NTT Com, Seki-san. Can you show me the last slide, please? In the future, we offer service. We want to be more focused on services offered by the private cloud. This is called the hosted private cloud. In simple terms, the physical servers are instantaneously provisioned. And the network part, we use software-defined network, SDN, so that we can offer the physical server that are requested instantaneously, and we are offering that based on usage charge. And so we are going to focus even more on the private cloud to see if we can contribute more, and we're thinking of building such a service, especially the relationship with Oracle in this area. Can be leveraged so that the service is easier to implement. And the relationship with the Oracle Cloud, I'm hoping to deepen this even more. We're a provider that provides IaaS, and Oracle does SaaS. I think that's your advantage. So how we can build a good hybrid between the two is something that we hope to consider together. Ishino-san? I have 2 things. One is not as heavy as Seven and I, but we have millions of copy machines that are connected by network around the world, and there could be few millions or tens of millions of data per copy machine every day, and so few hundred gigabytes of data is captured on the day, and normally we would only use it as transaction data. For example, we can charge it based on the usage, and if the copy machine breaks, we can dispatch a serviceman. And we only used to use this as transaction data, but recently there's a lot of hype around analytics, and internally we have a department called Data Intelligence department, so they can leverage the data. We're not sure if we can forecast the data future, but we can maybe use it for generating leads for sales, or change the yield timing for replacement of parts, or we can use it for preventative maintenance, and we're trying out different things. And massive amounts of data is used for hypothesis and validation, and it's really inefficient to have all the data internally, so we can use the cloud and we can change the capacity as needed. And that's one big aim that we started this year. And the other is not really IaaS, it's more in the SaaS world. We are a Japanese company, and as like with the other companies, we build everything pretty much in-house. And I've done ERP implementation in the US, but the reason why it doesn't work in Japan is because the people in the field are just so strong and just so fantastic. I mean, the people who are operating in the field and the factory floor shop floor staff are always thinking about how they can make improvements. Our traditional IT sense of value was to capture those ideas around improvement and reflecting that onto the system. And that's why we build something in-house all the time. I mean, if you try to implement all the good factors onto ERP and package, it would be a monster. So that's why it's so difficult to use ERP and other packages. So if we want to use SaaS application or something like ERP, the philosophy needs to be changed. Small improvement in the shop floor needs to be ignored. I mean, you said that there are 3 releases per year.
And so that we can fully utilize that opportunity of having 3 updates per year, we have to make a mindset change. It might be only necessary for Japan, but in what kind of area do we have to build something from scratch by ourselves, and in which areas we can enjoy this merits of the frequent upgrades that are provided by the service provider? We have to think. So, fully understanding these merits, we needed to be able to use a cloud service. So I think it is good for all the Japanese companies. They can learn that way. So Sugihara-san, we heard many keywords, important keywords from panelists. So Omni-Channel or global management or group management for the business management. And I think there are many management people on the floor, and you have a cloud #1 vision. So as a company who want to be a cloud #1, how do you think about them? So it's in Oracle. We were a database company and application company and a middleware company. We developed the database and applications, and we sold them to the customers. That was a business model. So we do have a strategic meeting in the headquarters, and we are aware that we are entering the new era. So just developing the software and sell them to the customers. So we cannot catch up with the changes in this era. So the bookstore is providing service, and advertising companies are providing analytics and the other services. So we needed to make a leap. So customers' expectations are now global and diversified, and we needed to provide the SaaS and the PaaS and the IaaS and the database technology that can be used by all the customers, whether they want to use a public cloud or private cloud or a hybrid cloud. So especially thinking about Japan, so I had a dinner with one the customer, the management person, and we needed to have buy more the dollars and so on, and so productive laborers will be less than 80 million. So we will be seeing the 20 million to 2 million to 3 million population reduction in coming years. So we will have fewer labor forces, and in that kind of situation, we want the customers to fully and efficiently use our solutions, and we needed to provide a mission-critical cloud infrastructure or cloud that can be used for mission-critical applications. So when you buy a cloud, from which vendor do you want to buy technology? So when things are commodity price products, and the people might think that it's not good, and however, we needed to provide the best quality of products at a reasonable price. And so a cloud is different from the other products that we have been selling. So we need to have many more customers who keep using our cloud service. So that kind of a recurring revenue is necessary. So we have to be a trusted partner to the customers. So we heard various opinions from our panelists, and I think you could learn a lot from them. And I'd like you to attend the afternoon sessions as well. Please give them a big hand. Thank you very much indeed.